Hey everyone! When it comes to machine learning, we all love a high accuracy score. I mean, 99% sounds incredible, doesn't it? But what if I told you that number can be a complete and total illusion? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on why the most common way we measure success can actually be a trap and what we should be using instead. So, here's our game plan. First up, we're going to expose the whole paradox of high accuracy. Then, we'll get into the metrics that really matter and see how they're in a constant tug-of-war. After that, we'll visualize that battle with something called an ROC curve, and finally, boil it all down to one single, super powerful number, the AUC.
All right, let's dive right in. Section 1. Why accuracy can lie. Or, as I like to call it, the 99% accuracy paradox. And yes, you heard that right. So let me just ask you straight up. Is 99% accuracy always a good thing? Now your first gut reaction is probably, heck yeah, that's amazing, but you might want to hold that thought, because things are not always what they seem.
Okay, let's paint a picture here. Imagine we're building a model to screen for a rare disease. In our test group of 1,000 people, only 1%, so just 10 people, are actually sick. The other 990 are perfectly healthy. The stakes here are obviously really high.
Now take a look at this. This table is a confusion matrix, and it tells a crazy story. We've built a model that has one simple, lazy rule. It just predicts healthy for every single person. So for the 990 healthy people, it's right. But for the 10 people who are desperately counting on this test, it's wrong every single time. It finds 0 sick patients. And yet, its overall accuracy is 990 correct predictions out of 1,000. That's 99% accuracy. It's a model that is 99% accurate and 100% useless. Wild, right?
So this is exactly why we need to look past simple accuracy. Which, of course, brings us to Section 2. To get the real story, we need to focus on two different metrics that are in a constant tug-of-war with each other.
First up, we've got the true positive rate, or TPR. You'll also hear people call this sensitivity or recall. It's all the same thing. And it's really simple. It just asks, of all the people who are actually sick, what percentage did our model correctly catch? It's all about the model's power to find what it's supposed to be looking for.
Now, the other side of that coin is the false positive rate, or FPR. This is the one that measures how often the model cries wolf. So, of all the people who were actually healthy, what fraction did our model incorrectly flag as being sick? This is its tendency to raise false alarms. And this right here, this is the heart of the problem. It's the core conflict. If we tune our model to be super sensitive, to try and push that true positive rate up to 100%, well, we almost always raise the false positive rate too. We start scaring healthy people for no reason. It's a constant balancing act. So how do we even begin to manage this trade-off? Well, we don't have to guess. We can visualize it. And that brings us to Section 3. We're going to see how this all comes together in something called an ROC curve, which is just a really elegant way of seeing a model's entire performance profile at a glance. Now, the key to understanding this is that most models don't just spit out a hard yes or no. They give you a probability score, right? Something like, there's a 75% chance this patient is sick. And then we are the ones who have to choose a cutoff, a threshold, to make the final call.
So, building an ROC curve sounds fancy, but the idea is actually pretty straightforward. You just pick a threshold, say 50%. You calculate the model's TPR and FPR at that cutoff, and you plot that single point on a graph. Then, you just do it again. You try a different threshold, calculate a new TPR and FPR, and plot that point. You do this over and over for every possible threshold. And when you connect all those dots, you get your ROC curve.
And this is the graph itself, the ROC space. Think of it like this. The y-axis going up is your true positive rate. That's your reward. You want that to be high. The x-axis going across is your false positive rate. That's your cost. You want that to be low. So the dream spot? The perfect model lives in that top left corner. 100% reward, 0% cost.
Okay, looking at a curve is great. It really helps you understand the trade-offs. But what if you're trying to compare, say, 3 different models? Trying to eyeball which curve is better can get tricky. We really just need one number to summarize the whole thing. And that brings us to Section 4, the area under the curve.
And yep, it's literally what it sounds like. We just take that ROC curve we drew and we measure the total two-dimensional area underneath it. That's it. It's a single value, always between 0 and 1, that basically captures that entire performance profile in one clean number. So what does that number mean? In a nutshell, AUC tells you how good a model is at telling the difference between the classes. How well can it distinguish between the sick patients and the healthy ones? The higher the AUC, the better the model is at separating the two groups. It's as simple as that.
All right, let's bring it all home with our last section. Let's put some real-world meaning to these scores. What does your AUC score actually tell you? We're going to go from the absolute perfect model all the way down to a completely pointless one.
An AUC of 1.0? That is the holy grail. It is a perfect classifier. It means your ROC curve shoots straight up the y-axis to the top and then takes a hard right. It means there is a threshold where this model can find every single positive case without a single false alarm. It never gets confused. Now, an AUC of 0.5, that's the other extreme. This is a totally useless model. Its ROC curve is just that perfect diagonal line from corner to corner. It means the model has absolutely no ability to distinguish between classes. It's no better than just flipping a coin. Totally random. But this right here, this quote, is probably my favorite, most intuitive way to think about AUC. An AUC of, say, 0.9 means that if you pick one random sick person and one random healthy person, there's a 90% chance that your model will give a higher sickness score to the person who's actually sick. It's a direct measure of how well it can rank them. So there you have it. We've gone from the false comfort of that simple accuracy number to the much richer, more honest picture we get from ROC and AUC. So the next time you're in a meeting and someone proudly announces their model has 99% accuracy, what's the first question you're going to ask? What will you need to see to know if it's truly a great model, or just another useless one in disguise?